If you're a caregiver and you've ever felt guilty for needing time away, I want you to hear this loud and clear. You're not a bad person for wanting a break. Hi, I'm 𝗕𝗿𝗃𝗃. My wife Sonia was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in January 2020 at the age of 65. I've seen too many caregivers suffer physically, emotionally, and mentally, oftentimes more than the loved ones they care for. I was determined not to let this disease take me down, and I found a way to cope. Now I help other caregivers do the same. Like many caregivers, I didn't sign up for this. This role found me. And for a long time, I thought the only way to be good a caregiver was to give everything I had, 24/7, no matter how drained I felt. But that belief nearly broke me. So today, I want to share a truth that took me far too long to learn, and that I now help other caregivers embrace. You deserve rest, and needing it does not mean you're failing, it means you're alive. Many caregivers carry around this invisible rule book that says, if I really loved them, I wouldn't need a break. If I were stronger, I'd be able to handle more. If I take time for myself, I'm abandoning them. Where do we get these ideas? Some of it comes from culture, some comes from family, and some comes from inside us, from this deeply rooted belief that sacrifice is the only way to prove love. But that rule book is a lie. Needing rest doesn't mean you're not devoted. It means you're emotionally vested and emotionally exhausted. Let me ask you this. If your phone battery was at 2%, would you curse it for needing a charge or plug it in? Then why do we shame ourselves for needing to recharge our own batteries? Here's what I've learned the hard way. Caregiving without rest leads to burnout. Burnout leads to resentment, and resentment leads to guilt. And that's the vicious cycle so many caregivers get trapped in. I remember a specific day when I lost my temper with Sonia. It wasn't even about anything big. I was just tired. She had turned on the water faucet and left it running after I just asked her not to. I snapped. I saw the confusion in her eyes, and immediately the guilt hit me like a wave. But it didn't come from the moment, it came from the buildup. From the days and weeks I pushed myself past empty. From the months I refused to rest. That wasn't love. That was martyrdom. And it wasn't sustainable. Taking a break is not abandoning your loved one. It's protecting the relationship you have with them. It's saying, I love you enough to want to keep showing up with patience, with presence, with grace. And to do that, I need space to breathe. When Sonia is at adult daycare, I don't use those hours to feel guilty. I use them to refill my tank, physically, emotionally, spiritually. That time allows me to show back up as the version of myself I want her to see, calm, centered, and still capable of joy. You don't have to go on a 2-week vacation to call it a break. Sometimes a break is sitting outside with your morning coffee in silence, listening to music that lifts you up, taking a walk without looking at your phone, saying no to one more obligation, giving yourself permission to laugh with a friend. These aren't luxuries, they're lifelines. So why do so many caregivers resist taking breaks? Because we fear judgment. We worry about what others will think, especially family members who aren't doing as much as we are. Or we fear the internal judgment, the voice that says, you're being lazy, or you're wasting time, or you should be doing more. Let me challenge that voice. Imagine someone else, someone you love, was doing all the caregiving you do. Now imagine they say, I need some rest. Would you shame them? Or would you say, of course you do. You've been caring so much. Then why can't you offer that same grace to yourself? This isn't just about emotions. It's about survival. The Journal of the American Medical Association found that family caregivers have a 63% higher risk of dying than their peers who aren't caregivers. That's not just a statistic. That's a red flag. Chronic stress depletes your immune system. It raises your blood pressure. It damages your mental health. It turns your compassion into exhaustion. And here's the irony. If you don't take a break, you will break. And then you won't be able to care for anyone. Taking care of yourself isn't a detour from caregiving. It's part of the job. Let me say this directly. You do not need to earn your rest. You do not need to get everything done first. You don't need to prove you've tried hard enough. You don't need to justify why you're tired. You're allowed to rest because you exist, because you're human, because rest is how we heal. You have nothing to prove and everything to gain by showing yourself the same kindness you give others. If this message speaks to you, then maybe you've been pushing too hard. Maybe you've been carrying guilt you don't deserve. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to put it down. You're not a bad person for wanting a break. You're a loving person who's trying to carry something impossible and possibly heavy. And that's why you deserve rest more than anyone. Have you ever felt guilty for needing a break? Tell me, what's the one thing you wish you could do for yourself without feeling selfish? Drop it in the comments. I'd really like to hear from you. If you need help figuring out how to take those breaks without guilt, that's what I'm here for. If you're feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, or like you're losing yourself in caregiving, you're not alone. That's exactly why I created the Caregiver Mastery System, a step-by-step emotional roadmap to help you manage stress, anger, and burnout so you can care for your loved one without sacrificing yourself in the process. Inside, you'll discover how to say yes to yourself without guilt, reduce overwhelm, and reclaim peace even in the hardest moments. I call this place Heaven Island, a place of calm and clarity where you can show up for the one you love without losing who you are. And just so you know, this isn't some time-consuming program. I didn't create it to add more to your plate. I built it to take the weight off your shoulders. The lessons are short, practical, and easy to follow. And if you apply what I teach, even for just a few minutes a day, I guarantee you'll start to feel a real difference in 2 to 3 weeks. Click the link below or visit caregivermasterysystem.com to get started today. If this video helped you, please like, share, and subscribe. I post new caregiver support videos every Monday and Thursday. And if this message spoke to you, use the hashtag. I'm sorry, I got a temporary thing in my mouth and it's just making it more difficult. But hey, use the hashtag Caregiver Mastery so others can find the support they need too. You're not alone. Let's get through this together.